Bill 25-44, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to sign a change order number 1 with Don Schneider Excavating Company, Inc. for the Veterans Memorial Project not to exceed the amount of $172,217.90. They're asking for a first and second reading. City Engineer Drew Bowman.
Mayor, members of the board, the first thing I want to point out is that this change order that I'm requesting is for a total of $14,467.90, bringing it up to that $72,000 total project value. The original agreement with the Elks Lodge had them providing the material of the flagpoles for the Veterans Memorial Project. They were supposed to be and were agreed upon by the city to be a commercial grade flagpole that would be tamper proof and withstand wind speeds of beyond the maximum that we generally see. The flagpoles that were delivered on site were more of a residential grade flagpole that telescoped up and just were not suitable for this project, was not what was agreed upon with the Elks Lodge. So this change order is in an effort to expedite the delivery of these new commercial grade flagpoles through the contractor, and then have the Elks Lodge reimburse us for the actual flagpoles. The actual flagpoles are at a cost of $8,800. The original flagpoles, as designed by our design consultant, had the lighting for the flags to be mounted to the flagpoles themselves. However, these new flagpoles that are being procured through the construction, they have to be mounted on the ground. So there's an additional dollar amount there to mount the lighting for the flagpoles on the ground. Per the flag code, it is best practice to have these flags lit, but it is not 100% required. So I just ask to receive some guidance as to how you believe the flags should be lit, because from my conversations with the Elks, they are not able to afford the changes, to reimburse the city for the changes to the lighting.
I'm going to step in here first, if you don't mind, to try to clarify a couple of things, because I've kind of been involved in this process. And I did talk to Fred Cackett on the phone about this. To try to simplify things, Drew did a great job of explaining like an engineer, but let me try to do it when I dumb things down for me.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Basically, the project was approved on, they delivered the wrong flags. They did not deliver the commercial size flags, they delivered household size flags. The reason it's been sitting out there bare is because they were expecting the delivery of commercial flags. And they cannot do anything until commercial flags come in. So there it's been sitting for weeks because we got the wrong flags. And Drew talking to the Elks Lodge, why they delivered the wrong flags, I don't think anybody knows. But the correct flags, or round numbers, going to cost $9,000, which they will pay for. That leaves a balance of about $5,000 for lighting. And being a nonprofit organization, they don't have the other $5,000, because everything, as you know, I've been an Elk member for decades. Most of that goes to the veterans and nonprofit organization. So they will cover everything. They cannot come up with the additional $5,000 for the lighting. So two things would happen. We can put one light on the flags, which would not be appropriate. Why do any? Or we could say, fine, we won't put any lights on it, and they're going to cover it. So the cost to the city would be no different. if we did that, because they'll reimburse us for the $9,000. So what we're looking at here is for $5,000 for appropriate lighting that the city would cover rather than the Elks. Is that pretty accurate?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Comments or questions from the board? Alderman Osteen.
First of all, in our contractual obligation with the Elks concerning the memorial, I don't see specifically in the contract where there's verification for overruns to be reimbursed to the city by the Elks.
No, in the agreement, they agreed to supply flagpoles of an approximate cost of $5,200. In order to expedite the delivery of this material, and partnering with the contractor and the Elks, and trying to get this project, instead of being a giant hole out front, trying to be an actual memorial, to be visible in the near future, I went through the contractor and tried to procure these as quickly as possible. Still keeping in mind cost, but these are both cost-effective and timely. And they agreed to reimburse us for the flagpoles.
And I'm going to go ahead and give you my bias too, and then I'll be quiet because, especially with the board being one short tonight, my vote won't come into play. But I just want to express I'm in total favor of this. I think the city of Osage Beach would be proud to have the display here. I think the veterans would be proud to have the display here. It's going to cost the city $5,000 more than they expected, and I hope the board decides to go with this and get it done. Alderman Hoffman.
As everyone knows, I'm a veteran. I've been fully supporting this. However, I don't have any problem with the $5,000 for the lights, but do we have a contract in place with them saying that they are going to repay us, not a handshake deal?
I don't have that in paper, no. I've talked to Fred and with Steve Schmidt at the Elks Lodge. I can be sure before we tell the contractor to, to order, I'll be sure to get that in writing from them.
If I could continue on this, we've gone down this road a couple times in the past 2 years on handshake deals, and then we didn't get our money. And as much as I want to support this, I think that there needs to be some signed contract that they're going to pay us back. And without Cole here, I'm just wondering if maybe we should table this 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've got, they are asking for first and second, so I understand. Alderman Rucker?
First of all, it needs to be done right, and to do it right, it needs to be properly lit. And the proper lighting, as the engineers have found out, is to light it from the bottom. That is going to be more expense. My numbers and the mayor's numbers are a few bucks off, but still, I'm 5,600, you're 5,000, but it's still, I support it. I have a concern that that we don't have something in writing, but I believe that the Elks will stand behind it, and I would be in favor of this with the caveat that before the go-ahead is given to the contractor, that that we have something in writing. It doesn't need to come back to the board, as far as I'm concerned. It'll be taken care of. And one more thing on this, just while we're on it, Devin, April, between the two of you, the basically $8,800 that we're going to be getting back, will there be a budget amendment coming forward, since that's a income that is at one time wasn't?
We had talked to Carrie Bell about this, and because it is an offset to the expense, we would just credit that check to the expense rather than booking it as revenue, and then it's a wash.
Okay, as long as the budget,
Yeah.
that's my own.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I support it and move forward tonight. Thank you.
Alderman Osteen.
Just to clarify my initial question on all this, it basically just mirrors what Alderman Hoffman had stated. Was I was asking, this had nothing to do with the lights. This had to go with the flagpoles and the additional cost the city's going to incur with just a handshake deal, or just somebody stating, sure, we'll pay you back the difference. That's what I was alluding to, but I'm glad other Aldermen brought it up. It wasn't, once again, the lights are a different matter, and I agree with that, because obviously if we're going to put it on our property, we want it done right. It was just, I'm not comfortable with just handshake deals with people saying, yes, go ahead and spend the taxpayers' money for this, and we'll pay you back later. Anyway, just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Any other, Alderman Hoffman?
Well, this question is to Tara. Can we make an amendment and approve this contingent upon a contract in place?
You can make an amendment. Yes.
Or, I mean, a motion. Can we make an emotion
Would you
to
like
do
a
that?
motion to amend?
I would like to make a motion to amend that this goes into effect upon completion and signed contract by the Elks Lodge.
Do I have a second to the amendment?
I'll second that with more caveats. Okay, signed contract to basically guarantee the reimbursement for the cost overruns regarding the flagpoles. So it's specific, correct? No.
Not for,
Alderman Rucker.
not for the overrun, just for the flags.
Okay, for the
That's
flag.
all we're
Okay.
asking.
Reimbursement for the flags.
Okay.
Because there's going to be some overrun that we're going to be taking on, but just the
Okay.
flags,
Just the flags, okay.
right?
So I believe the amendment's going to be for, upon the signature for the contract to reimburse for the amount of the flag.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll second.
All seconds, Alderman Osteen. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
All those in favor of the first reading with the said amendment? Excuse me, do I have a motion to approve the first reading as amended?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rose. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we're going to do this again. Second reading, same bill, as amended. Bill 25-44, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to sign a change order number 1 with Don Schneider Excavating Company, Inc. for a Veterans Memorial Project not to exceed the amount of $172,217.90 as amended. Do I have a motion to approve second reading as amended?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Collins, or a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Rose?
Yes.
Alderman Collins?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Barilla?
Very good, thank you, folks.
Point of
Bill,
interest.
I'm sorry, Alderman Rucker?
Yeah, it's just a point. Tara,
Yes.
that's the correct way to do it?
Yes.
That's what we should be doing?
That's exactly what you need. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, Bill 25.